Okay. I know you guys like stats. Everybody likes stats. They're very unofficial. But we'll go down the line here. If somebody had 2 rushes or more, I'll say their name. Might take a while, and then I'll go slow, and then I'll leave. All right, just going down the line here. Chubb had 7 carries for 52 yards. Keith had 5 carries for 23. Keith Marshall. Sony had 5 carries for 21. Gurley had 5 carries for 13. Karemplis had 2 for 12. Douglas had 6 for 9. Passing the ball, Hudson was 10 out of 13 for 104. No TDs, no picks. Fatone was 7 for 12 for 102. There were no TDs or picks the whole scrimmage for anybody. Bryce was 8 of 16 for 134 yards. And Jacob was 6 for 10 for 44. Catches, Tibbs had 4 for 44. Keith Marshall had 3 for 56. Kenneth Towns had 3 for 42. J. Rome had 3 for 39. And then I'm just going to say number of catches for the rest of the guys because there's so many. Isaiah McKenzie had 2 catches. Erdman had 2. Langley had 2. Quavon had 2. Reggie Davis had 2. Blazevich had 2. Bennett had 2. Sony had 2. That's about it. Defensively, we'll see if we can get some defensive stats. These are really unofficial. Sterling had 8 tackles, 1 tackle for loss. Costa had 5 tackles, 1 tackle for loss. Jordan Jenkins, 5 tackles, 3 sacks. Shaq Jones had 5. All these people had 4. Herrera, Swan, Rico Johnson. I'll hit everybody who had 3 and we'll stop there. Mauger had 3. Kimbrough had 3 and 1 sack. He also had a forced fumble. Did I say Shaq Jones had a pass breakup?
He did.
Okay, Shaq Jones had a pass breakup. KJ had 3. Kennard Johnson, 3 tackles. Aaron Davis, 3. Josh Dawson, 3. One sack. Lorenzo Carter had 3 with 1 sack.
Headline.
I'm sorry?
I said headline.
Headline, there you go.
Lorenzo Carter with 1 sack.
John Atkins, 3 tackles. Mike Thornton, 3 tackles. 2 for loss, one of those being a sack. All right, I'll cover a few guys that had tackles for loss. McGee had 1. Ray Drew had 1. Malcolm Parrish had 1. Malcolm Parrish recovered a fumble. Malcolm Parrish also had a sack. And I said Ray Drew had a tackle for loss, and that was a sack. And I said McGee did as well, a tackle for loss, and his was a sack, if I didn't say that. And then the last little extra stat, Ray Drew had a pass breakup.
Quarterbacks seem to do fine.
Yeah, they completed balls. There weren't many big plays given up. There were no touchdown passes. There were no interceptions either. But offense may have caught a couple balls, but our defense got them on the ground, and that was very encouraging. I think the only touchdown drive was the first drive, and I think it was 11 play. It took 11 plays to get in the end zone. There's another long drive that the number 1 offense had that ended up in a field goal. But the defense, they didn't give up. I can't think of any big runs they gave up. There may have been one. Let me just see. They only gave up one run of. Well, they didn't give up any runs of 20. There was one that was 19. Chubb had a 19-yarder. But there weren't many long runs, breakout runs. There weren't any, really weren't any bombs that they got beat deep for a touchdown. So, really, a lot of good things happened back there.
Hearing,
I'm sorry, I lost track. What was your question?
You said, well, you answered the
Yeah.
first part. You said back there, you mean to say in the secondary or just the defense?
Well, overall, it takes everybody to do right. But there's some balls completed, but they got them on the ground really every time. And there were no touchdowns.
You're relatively happy with the secondary?
Well, in regard to giving up the big play, they didn't give up any. That was big. There might have been a couple close to what you'd consider a big play, but overall, we kept that from happening. That was good.
hearing that Isaiah McKenzie took one to the house on his first live return.
Well, it wasn't live. It was thud.
Okay.
So it looked like he did, and I'd have to see the film to say that he wouldn't have got tackled. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't tackle on thud, so you just keep going. A guy might come up and bump him or whatever out in space, or two-hand tag him out in space. I didn't see it real good, but it looked like, he did run from where he caught it to the end zone, but would he have actually gotten tackled for real? I don't know. It was not a live rep. Now, when our kickoff coverage team was covering, we tackled live there, but when our kickoff return team was returning the ball, and that was that case with Isaiah, we were not in a live. That scout team wasn't allowed to tackle him, so it's okay. So I'd temper that a little bit.
Would you, in general, would you say the defense won the day or the offense won the day? Or did you make that kind of call?
It's hard to make the call, but when we got in third down situations, most of the third and longs, the defense won. Most of the third mediums or shorts, the offense won. First drive of the day, offense took it down the field pretty methodically, scored a touchdown. With the ones got the ball the next time and drove it down the field in the red area, but I think they'd end up having to settle for a field goal. So they moved the ball well, but had to kick a field goal. There's some other long field goal attempts that were, one was made over 50, and I think he missed a couple over 50, barely. I mean, he's striking the ball extremely well. So it wasn't like scoring fest at all. I thought, but there was a lot of execution offensively, but there wasn't, a lot of points to show for it. So the defense, I thought both groups did a very nice job.
Looks like there were double-digit sacks. Was that more of an indictment on the offensive line or positive for the defense?
Well, we kept all stats when we went into our situations, and third down was one of our situations, and we had some 3rd and 8, 9, 10, 11 kind of type situations where they could kind of pin their ears back and come and get you. So some of the sacks were during that time frame. But a lot of, just a lot of good pass rush situations. Sometimes it's line, sometimes it's a back, sometimes it's a quarterback holding the ball too long, should have got rid of it. It's kind of a group effort when you get sacks.
Was it ones against twos?
It was ones-on-ones today.
Oh, okay. Is that unusual for the preseason?
It is, but we just want to. We think it's a pretty good matchup. This next scrimmage we may go ones versus twos. I'm not sure yet, but we wanted to go ahead and put the best on the best, and because we hadn't really. I'm not 100% sure who all the ones and twos are anyway. It's kind of a mixed bag anyway.
Is it encouraging that the defense didn't give up big plays? I mean, I know obviously.
Oh yeah, very encouraging. I mean, I would say that was one of the better things that happened today was the lack of big plays that were given up. If that makes sense.
You mentioned Malcolm Parrish with the sack, and I guess that's the breakup from high school. Last year he played both the quarterback. He's kind of
Right.
surprised how he's kind of taken to the quarterback. So
You know what? He's just a good football player. He's very tough, and he's smart and eager to learn, and he's getting his share of reps. I'm not shocked. I think he's a natural as a defensive player.
How about Aaron Davis back there? It is odd. I know he's now played here as a walk-on for some time. It is a little strange. Maybe Trey Battle did it.
Mm-hmm.
That's not the normal trajectory into
Right.
a lot of Georgia.
Yeah, but do you know his story a little bit?
Yeah, a little bit, but
High school really got hurt. I think he had 2 ACLs in high school.
right.
And so no one really knew who he was coming out. And my guess is if he'd have stayed healthy all through high school, people would have known who he was. He'd have been a relatively highly sought after guy in recruiting. He's got good skills.
Let me ask you this about Fatone, it seems like a couple of things about his personality. He seems like he's very cerebral in his approach, kind of
Mhm.
out of the Aaron Murray, I'm gonna film room it to death. kind
He
of
will.
thing.
He's a worker.
And then he's got a toughness factor. They talk about he wants to go. Did he go without a non-contact jersey today? Can
Yeah,
you
he
just
wanted.
talk about
He
those
came to
things?
my office and asked if it was okay to be live in the scrimmage, and the reason why he wants to do that is because he knows that he can break tackles. He knows that he can do some things athletically that add to his game, and when you go in a black jersey, if a guy gets close to you, you basically call the play dead. And he didn't want that. He wanted to have a chance to, do his thing, so to speak, athletically. And it worked. I mean, he made some plays. But I think he's just a tough kid, and he wants to, he wants to win the starting job. I mean, that's how he competes.
Got time for about 2 more?
That kicker, you said Marshall. He said Marshall's striking the ball pretty well.
He's hitting it really good. I mean, he missed a couple long ones, but he's. I like the way he's hitting the ball. Ball gets up. I mean, it's his leg is strong right now. He's doing a nice job.
Was Chubb's runs with the 2 offense against the 2 defense? And
I think he got a little of both.
and those numbers look good. How did he look?
Yeah, he looked good. He's a load now. He's a tough guy to bring down. He's a very strong guy, and tackle breaking is a big part of his game, and sometimes when you do drills where you don't have to tackle a guy to the ground, you thud a guy and you're like, okay, he's down. When you thud somebody, basically, he's going to get yards after contact. So when you start tackling for real, are you really getting him on the ground or not? He's pretty physical guy.
Mark, is there anything beyond bumps and bruises that jumped out injury-wise from this one?
No, it's kind of a typical scrimmage. Usually, we probably have less injuries in scrimmages than we do in practices sometimes. It's just, I don't know why. I think what happens is in practice, you're going rep after rep after rep after rep after rep. In a scrimmage, you'll go, one group's going 8 plays or whatever in a row, but the other group's kind of resting for 8 plays in a row, and it's kind of you don't get quite as many continual reps throughout the day, so I think it helps them.
Okay, thank you.
All right.